Yo, what up? It's the Snoop Deal Double G. My man JT Best Ball going live. Smash that like and sub if you aren't already. Now let's get in here and draft some fire teams.
Man, we are having all kind of technical difficulties over here tonight. I don't know what just happened with StreamYard, but here we are. We made it. I guess, trying to do three things at once. I had scheduled this stream right before I hopped on with Candyman earlier, and then I took a little break when we got off of his channel. Went to come back into mine just now, and like it wasn't set up right, and so then like I reset it up again, and then right at 11 when I went to hit stream, I don't know, like it told me like it had been deleted or something like that, so I had to do it again. Anyways, we're here. We made it. Gonna do a 20-second eliminator, I think is what we are going to do. Give me 1 second here. Yeah, hey, what's up, man? I'm trying to figure stuff out. Something went boo-boo in my StreamYard tonight, so I don't know. I'll have to go back and change the thumbnail. I'm gonna try to do that real quick. I don't know. It was weird. I had it. I set it up for 11 tonight, and then I went to go to StreamYard, and it wasn't there like it normally is. Normally, it says it's scheduled, blah blah blah. Now it's got just my boo-boo one thing there. Fix that. Da da da. Edit on that. Bear with me 1 second here, guys, and we'll hop into a draft. I just want to throw a thumbnail on this real quick so that it doesn't just have that crazy looking tiger thing there. There's a story behind that picture that I have on like my avatar. If anybody ever wants to know, we can talk about it. But almost there. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that. That was really weird. Some of y'all who have more experience with StreamYard, have you ever had it do that to you? It was weird. It was like my scheduled stream wasn't in StreamYard. So then I went in and I just tried to start a stream. But then it was weird. It was like it didn't work. I don't know. It was so weird. Let me delete that one. That might be what's confusing people. There we go. I think we got it all figured out now. We're here. I'm going to go ahead and flip over to Underdog real quick and start to get into an eliminator because that's what we wanted to draft tonight. We'll do a little 20-second one. Hopefully it won't take too long to fill this time of night. 7 people. That's not too bad. We can talk while we wait for it. Hartman, if you're still here, look forward to drafting with you tomorrow. It was a lot of fun tonight, Candyman. Think we had a pretty good team. We got it straightened out. That was really weird, though. I've never had that happen. Of course, I am somewhat new to StreamYard. I've only been using it for about a week or so now. Let's see. I could put that one on. Da 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 da. Save that. Go with that. If anybody else wants to hop in this eliminator with me, I'm waiting on 5 people for a 20-second eliminator. Just changing some things on my little banner real quick. Alright, I think we're getting everything squared away now. That was really weird. I don't know, the whole StreamYard thing and it not being there, and then it said it was deleted. Anyways, we're here. We got it straightened out. We got the proper thumbnail thrown on the YouTube one. We are waiting for 5 more people if somebody wants to jump in here with us. Good to see you in there, my man. Good to see you in there. We'll have some late night eliminator fun. Friend of the stream, Mark, just hopped in there as well. This will be a fun draft. Anybody else wants to come along, there's room for some more. We're waiting on 4 people. 20-second eliminator. I keep telling myself these little banners that's at the bottom of the screen, I need to go and I need to each night make like 1 or 2 banners for whatever draft we're going to do, and then whatever draft we're going to do next. Be a good little way I could advertise it. I got to get some rest, but have a great draft. Yeah, for sure, man. Go get you some rest. You and your whole family, I hope y'all get to feeling better. I know you said everybody was a little under the weather. That's never any fun. It was a lot of fun being on this stream, though. You know, that's part of why I did this was you guys have followed me for a while now. Know I'm a family man. I got a few kids and stuff. And, you know, I don't get out much. You know, I kind of do my own little thing. So I have a few friends that I talk ball with and stuff. But I thought it'd be really cool. I'm going to be drafting teams at my desk all night anyways, most of the summer. So, hey, let's hop on stream and learn some new things and have some fun and get to meet some new people and discuss different ideas with people. And if nothing else, I think it's kind of a way too to kind of check yourself, especially in my case. I tell you all the time, I'm a guy who I'm not afraid to have high percentages of people. And somebody in the comments on Candyman's stream tonight said it best. You take the you know, the players that fit best on the build you're doing that you like, and you don't necessarily worry about your percentages. And that is exactly what kind of drafter I am. That describes me pretty well. But that said, you know, sometimes when you get to really talking to other really smart people or other people who know what they're doing in best ball also, then you can kind of hear the different sides of things, you know. And that kind of happened already to me this year with Bowers. You know, I thought Bowers was an amazing player. We talked about it on one of my streams, how, you know, I went back to 2023, how I got burned by Mark Andrews in the 3rd round when I tried to galaxy brain it. And I said, you know what, I'm not going to take Kelsey in the 1st round of mini drafts, but I do want one of the elite tight ends. So I'm going to just load up on Mark Andrews in the 3rd round. Yep, and that's the year that he got hurt, and that didn't turn out too well, so that kind of burned me. And then last year, the tight ends that were going kind of earlier, like Laporta was one of the first, if not the first tight end off the board. But I was drafting a lot of like Bowers later in the draft. I was drafting a whole lot of Bowers last year. Thought he was an amazing pick where he was going. And so the fact that Laporta had a down year and then guys you could get later did smash, I think that kind of just made me start this year off more down on Bowers than I should be. You know, one thing that really stuck with me that BBG said whenever he was on my stream was he said, with Bowers, you can get a guy who's essentially their number 1 receiver and probably going to put up similar games to a true number 1 receiver that you get to roster at your tight end spot. And that is 100% true. And so that whole weekend, he was on a Friday night, and then that whole weekend I just kind of was thinking about it a lot and kind of totally flipped my stance on him. Now I am definitely totally in on Bowers because I do believe that's true. I can't get there on McBride yet, though. So if one of y'all have a good argument as to why I should be more in on McBride, I'm willing to listen. My argument for the Bears side of McBride is, one, he goes in the exact same spot because it's either end of round 2 or early round 3. So it's really hard to get him with, unique teams, because he's always going to be paired with the same players. And my hot take on his lack of touchdowns last year, I said it on the stream the other night. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Thanks for stopping in, Nick. Appreciate it, man. I've been trying to catch some of your late night ones too whenever I get off of mine. If y'all don't know, y'all probably know, but Nick's in the streaming game too. Feel free to shout out your channel in the chat. I don't remember the exact name of it. I think it's just your name, but I'm not totally positive on that. But anyways, my bearish thing on McBride is touchdowns can be not sticky, yes, and in almost every case, I would say that's true. But in McBride's case, we have Kyler. Let me flip over here. My draft is about to start. We'll call out everybody in a minute. I'm in the 4 hole. I think Kyler really struggles in the red zone. You know, tight ends, when you get down in the red zone, you get there on the 5 yard line, the 10 yard line. A tight end's prime territory to score their touchdowns is right there in the middle of the defense, right in the middle of the end zone. Okay, we know that Kyler's short King Summer, all that good stuff. And, you know, it doesn't hurt him as much when you're spread out. When you're on the 40 yard line, 50 yard line, whatever, the field spread out. You got Harrison, you know, taking some coverage deep or whatever, or on the sideline. But things really get condensed there in that red zone. And I think that Kyler honestly has a hard time throwing to the middle of the end zone when you're, say, on the 10 yard line and in, which therefore I feel like could be one of the reasons why McBride didn't really score a lot of touchdowns at all, considering how many freaking targets he had last year. So I'm still not there on McBride, but I am definitely flipped my switch on Bowers. Robinson went. This is an eliminator. I think the last time we were in the 4 hole, we went with Jefferson. This time, let's go Gibbs. I kind of switched Gibbs and Jefferson up in the 4 hole. I feel like whoever I remember drafting last, I try to take the next one, it seems like. We have Marcus in here. Somebody else in the chat said they were in here. Paulino, if you want to shout out your screen name on Underdog. I'm sorry, I don't know exactly who you are on Underdog, but I have seen you around a bunch of chats all the time. Yeah, for sure, man. Anytime. I'm on pretty much Monday through Friday, 9:30. We definitely need to get together and do something. We got Mark in the 5 hole. We got me in the 4 hole. $20 eliminator. Like I was saying with Candyman, I want a bunch of these eliminators because I'm already just, you know, it's you're gonna have some teams that don't make it out of week 1, and that was a crazy thing I thought about the other day. Is like we literally start getting our money back in round 4. So then when you really think about why that is, like literally by the time we go to round 3, only 25% of the people that enter this contest are going to be left, because essentially we're chopping it in half week 1, and then half of the remaining 50% is getting chopped the next week. But hey, those few teams that we build just right and get a little bit of luck on our side, it's going to make for some really fun sweats. And I definitely want to have a couple that at least make it interesting for me. So I'm going to definitely be drafting my fair share of them. Trying to load up, get lucky with the right one. $12 hole with the classic receiver, Neighbors Thomas. Nothing out of the ordinary. 11 hole went Amon and Achan. Puka and Nico. That's how me and Candyman started to draft. I think we were right about that same spot too. Maybe 9. I don't remember exactly where we were. 9 or 10. Genty and Ladd. 8 hole went Henry and London. Start looking at what we want to do with this pick. We started with Gibbs, a week 8 bye. Mark goes Bowers. That's who I wanted. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab a receiver. Let's get Higgins. Didn't really want to go running back. Running back there. Thought about Jacob. Paulino is in the 7. Okay, heavy hitters. I'll try to remember that. That's a pretty easy name to remember. We're about to be back on the clock. The 2-hole goes Allen. And that kind of worked out. We were debating going Jacobs with the last pick, but we ended up going with Higgins. We'll take Jacobs at the little 8-pick discount there. No problem with that. It's only 8 picks, but we call it a little value hound. Just a little bit of value. It's pretty nice though, you know, when you're debating between two guys and they're both kind of right at ADP-ish. And it kind of worked out. Higgins probably wouldn't have came back to me, so we'll take it. Let's see. It's late night. We gotta get a little music going. I feel like sometimes when I've been playing around with the little preset musics that are in here in StreamYard, and I do feel like sometimes if I just get a little music going, it seem to have a little better drafts. Maybe it's just in my head. Mark started with CMC, Bowers, and Daniels. Mark is trying to get him a big old CMC bag in the Eliminator, I see. I believe you started with him in Candyman's draft. 7-hole CD, JT, and Lamar. I like that start a lot. You could essentially, there's a world where you have the wide receiver 1, running back 1, and quarterback 1. Be pretty nice in the Eliminator. Sounds good. Couple picks till we get to me, but I want to start looking here and see who's on the board. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I have found myself more and more trying to lean into guys, at least not with that like 5 and 6 bye week. That 5 bye week is tough. I guess if you only have 1 or 2 of them, it's not that big a deal. So little of us will remain by then anyways. Cook keeps falling more and more. I think people are a little too worried about the whole holdout thing myself, so I will gladly take him. Running back room of Gibbs, Jacobs, and Cook sounds good in the Eliminator to me. Sign me up. Let's see what we want to do here. We don't want to get too far behind at receiver. But I just think Kittle is a really good pick in this. He's got the super late bye week, week 14. We don't know how healthy Ayuk is going to really be to start the year. Me and Candyman were just both talking tonight about how neither one of us are really in on Pearsall. We're going to have to hit receiver pretty heavy, though, to start catching up here in the next few rounds. As we did start with 3 running backs in the first 4 rounds, we did grab Higgins in the middle there. Now we tacked on Kittle. All 3 of our running backs have different bye weeks, though, so that'll kind of help us out. We can chill for a while on running back, hit receiver up the next few rounds, grab some quarterbacks at some point, tie it all together, put a bow on it, and see how far it goes. Working our way through, we're into the 6th round. There's a whole bunch of receivers coming up here in the 6th and 7th round, though, that I do like and I feel good about. That's one reason we were okay kind of making those detours that we did. I think we can still get some guys to fill out the room pretty nicely. There goes Travis Hunter. He was sliding quite a bit in this draft. Our friend in the 7 hole got a nice little team going there. CD, Taylor, Lamar, DJ Moore, James Conner, now Travis Hunter. I think I'm going to take Judy here. I mean, he's still their number 1. We don't know who's going to be throwing him the ball. At this point, we're just trying to get some receivers. He's got a kind of late bye week. We like that. Paulino, a fun fact about James Conner. So I'm working on this thing where I'm looking at the first 6 weeks of the regular season, and I'm going through each team and trying to see, is there just for the Eliminator specifically, is there a person that I think is just a smash pick in the Eliminator based upon their first 6 weeks? And of course, Arizona was the first team that I started looking into. Let me make this pick and we'll finish talking. We might hurt ourselves getting so far behind at receiver, but we can probably stop at 5 running backs, maybe even 4, and really push it. I like Judkins a lot this year. I took Judy, so there's the team aspect. Maybe, ping pong which weeks each of them kind of go off, whether Cleveland's winning the game, losing the game, playing from ahead, playing from behind. And I just thought Judkins was so much of a better pick than the receiver on the board there. I didn't really want Rashid at that particular spot. Don't really like Jacoby that much in the Eliminator. But anyways, back to Connor. So I think Connor, and I haven't gotten through but just a couple teams. I just started this exercise. But Connor may very well be one of the best running backs that you can take in the Eliminator. I mean, their first 6 weeks are New Orleans, at home against Carolina, at San Francisco, at home against Seattle, at home against Tennessee, and on the road in Indy. Seems like a pretty nice schedule for a team that should be pretty decent and likes to run the ball. I mean, New Orleans defense isn't going to be much. Carolina's defense the last few years you've been able to kind of run on. San Francisco's defense isn't going to be what it was. I don't know. I think Connor is a base. Once I started looking into that, heck, he is a smash pick in this Eliminator, and he's definitely going to be a target of mine in the future. After I saw that the other day when I started this little Eliminator exercise that I'm working on. It's coming around to us in the 8th. We almost have to take a receiver here. The good news is, as of now, there's a few guys if I go further down the board that I would not mind one bit having at receiver. Don't think we're really to a quarterback spot yet. We have Kittle. We'll probably go really late with whatever other tight ends that we draft. I think I can get one of those two to come back to me. He's got an early bye week, but we're going to take Golden because I'm really high on him this year in general. He could very well be the best receiver from Green Bay when it's all said and done this year. We were hoping Pittman would come back around to us. I think that if AR really is done, the shoulder injury stuff came out today. Pittman has a really late bye week, which we like. And if you remember, Pittman played with a hurt back last year. And if you go back a couple years ago, like pre-Anthony Richardson, whenever Gardner Minshew was playing for them a lot, or it might have even been Richardson's rookie year whenever Richardson got hurt. Whatever year it was that Gardner took over there for a while, and they went to a whole lot of kind of just like, read option type stuff, and Pittman just got peppered with targets by Gardner Minshew constantly. And, I could see that similar thing playing out with Jones as the quarterback. So I'm definitely a lot more in on Pittman after the AR injury. I hadn't been taking a lot of Pittman. My stance has kind of been that I thought AR would start the year at quarterback. They'd, see what they got with him and give him one more chance, because the coaches and GM don't want to admit that he was a big bust for as high as they took him. But I think the fact that that same shoulder is hurt again, it either never was right, or it's just his career could be done. I mean, this could very well just be it for him. I don't know. I think if nothing else, if it was really truly going to be a 50-50 battle it out in camp type deal, the fact that coaches are generally more cautious, like we'll see when it gets to camp, is what most people would say. But the fact that they're already saying they don't know when he'll be ready, that's kind of scary to me. It tells me it could be a lot more serious than what we think. Can we get by with Higgins and Judy and Pittman? I'm trying to debate because I also like Harris a whole lot right here. And he's got a late bye week, but which is nice. The one thing I'm starting to worry about is we have a lot of, guys that generally we would love in a BBM style format or a regular style format. The Golden, who might come on later in the year versus early. Trey Harris. But if Jones really starts the year, we could get some good early production out of Pittman. Judy's the number one. We're deep at running back with the 4 that we have, so we're kind of with this particular team counting on quarterback pretty much to hit our flex. I mean, not quarterback, sorry, running back to hit our flex each week. And so I think with like the Golden and Harris pick, I'm going to kind of smooth that out a little bit here with another receiver, 6th receiver, Kirk, who should be involved pretty early for the offense. And it makes me feel better. I'm liking this team so far. This draft is flying. You guys are really on it tonight. We got Kittle at tight end holding it down. We started with the running back heavy team. We got Gibbs, Jacobs, Cook, and Judkins. 4 guys in general I'm either pretty in on or super in on. Receiver room started off a little shaky with just Higgins, then Judy, but we liked what we did after that with Golden, Pittman, Harris, and Kirk. Kind of helps balance it out a little bit, get us to 6. Definitely enough to work with so far. We'll tack on a couple more probably. We'll see. Maybe stop at 7. We can stop at 5 running backs. I probably will stop at 5 running backs, and we can then probably get an extra receiver. Probably looking like a 3 quarterback build if I had to guess. What's up, Disbanded? A fellow Austin man. I found that out tonight over in Candyman stream. That is where I have currently been living for the past 6 years, and we moved around a lot early, and we've already promised our daughters that we're not moving out of the school district again, and my youngest is going to 6th grade, so I'm going to at least be in Austin 6 more years. We'll see after that once the kids are all gone. We've talked about some possible retirement locations, me and the wife, daydreaming of the day that we don't have multiple kids and soccer games and practices and dinners to cook and $200 grocery store trips every week. Those will be the days. More than $200 at the grocery store. Who am I kidding? We're on the clock. I don't really like much here. And we got an auto pick of Jaden Blue. I'm not going to lie, I'm not perfect. I'm still trying to get used to this 20-second clock. Y'all know my backstory. I was strictly pretty much, I did all my underdog stuff, which was very little the last 2 years in slow drafts. And I would drafted a lot of volume live drafting on DraftKings before I got into streaming. I'm glad I came over though. Underdog is definitely a way better site. We're going to get on it real quick here and make sure we don't get a double auto pick. We should have grabbed a quarterback really quick last time because the quarterbacks are starting to look really, really thin. So we will at least grab Geno. This team isn't turning out to be one of our better ones, but we'll try to finish it off. You never know. We could get lucky with it. That's what I should have did. I was trying to flip back and forth between running back and receiver and kept flipping wrong. I should have just clicked it on quarterback, grabbed the best quarterback. That Jaden Blue pick is going to hurt this team a lot, but we'll still try to finish it off the best that we can. No, I totally agree. You know, I guess it's just like I was telling Candyman, I played a DFS before I really got into best ball, and in the first year that I really went heavy into best ball, I had a lot of success in DraftKings that year. So then last year, which was the second year that I was really heavy into best ball, I was like, well, might as well just keep playing here, you know? And so then I had the bright idea when I was going to start streaming this year. I was like, well, I always play on DraftKings, and not many people stream DraftKings. And we started off the first week or two we were streaming, still pretty much doing mostly DraftKings, but few people that were kind enough to give me their honest opinion about just streaming best ball, and they're all people who's been doing it now for a few years or at least a year or so, and you know, they basically said like, hey, you know, the people want to see the dog. The people do not want to see DraftKings for the most part. We would highly recommend that you at least dip your toes in it or be open to it. I thought about it over a weekend, and then that next week we decided to fully jump into underdog streets. So here we are. We are having to get real gross at quarterback with this team, but we don't want to totally get shut out. So we're going to take a Tyler Shook. I really wish I had that Jaden Blue pick back. We'll get better, guys. I can own it. It happens. I did some drafters last year. It's okay. I think there's so many different contests on Underdog, and with this being the first year that I'm really doing live drafts on Underdog and just starting my streaming and everything, I think for me personally, I'm just going to pretty much stick to Underdog. I'll still do some DraftKings here and there, probably off stream if I have time. Alright, let's see. What do we want to do here? How can we save this team? One way we can save it is help out those rookies and go with an Eliminator ass pick and Michael Wilson. We messed up. If you missed it or if you're just joining in, we were talking and the 20-second clock snuck up on us right there in the 12th round. I really wish I could have had it back. Would have probably went quarterback there. Could have got either Cam Ward or Bryce Young instead of the auto pick that we got stuck with in blue. Still would have probably taken Geno here. That would have freed us up to not feel like we had to take Shuck just to have a second quarterback who might start. But hey, it happens. We will get better. I shall try to not have another auto-picked player the rest of the summer, but it will probably happen again at some point. Especially considering a large portion of my drafts are going to be drafts when I'm streaming. And sometimes it just sneaks up on us. But we live, we learn, we move on. But man, that one really stings. The more I keep looking at the board, that one really stings. Oh well. Maybe we get lucky. Maybe it works out. Or the team will be dead and I'll have a lot of other eliminators that will be better. Will be built better. Let me see on the back side of me, 2 quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks, 2 quarterbacks. My boy Will Shipley's on the board if he stays. What do we have here? Where's the drafter? Pat Mahomes and Daniels. We'll see. We're going to grab Slayton. He's another eliminator ass pick. Why is that thing so off? We're just having all kind of issues tonight. That one's tough to get over. That Jade and Blue pick really screwed this team up. Shh. Don't spoil it, Hartman. We're trying to pull it out. We're trying to pull it out. Oh man, we were on the clock again. I am really struggling tonight. Keenan Allen. Wow. Alright guys, we're just going to have to flush this one down the toilet. This is about the worst underdog team I have drafted since I came over to Underdog. Luckily, most of the people that's in here have seen me draft a fair amount of teams probably by now, and you know that this is not the norm. Our head was just not in it tonight. So now, because we not only fucked off one of our picks, but 2 of our picks, we have to make the decision: do we want to roll with just Geno Smith, who at least his bye week isn't until week 8. Maybe Tyler Shough, if he doesn't start the year, is playing by week 8. We don't want to roll with just one tight end, do we? I mean, I guess one way that I could play it is this thing keeps messing up there too. That's part of why I keep getting on the clock and not realizing it, because the damn thing across the top isn't like updating for some reason. There's not even another quarterback though who's guaranteed to start the year. I guess we could go with gross Russell Wilson and hope he at least gets us off to a decent start. And then Tyler Shough at some point starts playing. There's not any eliminator tight ends that I really like left. If it was a regular format, I do like Arroyo a lot. I don't know how much he really helps me early in the year. Man, I really messed this one up. Oh well, it happens. So here's what we're going to do. The tight ends are all gross. So with this particular team, the way we're going to tell ourselves in our head we at least somewhat save it is we think Russell Wilson starts the year at quarterback. So we're going to take Russell Wilson because that should at least give us Geno and Russell Wilson. We only have one tight end, but it's Kittle, and his bye week is week 14. Tight end is the least productive position on your roster anyways. And you know what? If this crappy double auto-picked team actually makes it to week 14, I believe that's like a $4,000 payout. And if I get kicked out in week 14 because it only had one tight end, I will be happily laughing that it even got there after the way that all of that happened. But overall, when I look at this team, it is just not good. Not good. It is about as pukey of a team as I can imagine drafting. Let's look at the mess that it was, though. I'll call you guys out, too. I know we got some other guys in the draft with me. Started with Gibbs and Higgins. Then we went Jacobs, Cook, Kittle, Judy, Judkins, Golden, Pittman, Harris, and Kirk. I really liked how this team was going up until the 11th round. That's when the Jaden Blue pick snuck up on me. If that wouldn't have happened, I probably, just knowing who I like, probably would have went either Cam Ward or Bryce Young. I didn't have any Titans. I didn't have any Panthers. So it would have been a toss-up, but we could have maybe potentially got the other one right here because I like them both, or still got Geno because I'm in on Geno too, where he goes in the draft. So then we had to take Geno, and we felt like we had to take Tyler Shough just because QB was getting so gross. We picked our 2 Eliminator picks, and then whenever we were maybe going to take, well, I guess Rodgers went before it even got to us anyways. I guess the Keenan Allen one only hurt me in the fact that I was really planning on taking Jawan Johnson here was kind of what I was thinking after I had took Shough. But then that pick snuck up on me too. Have you guys, I know we got some underdog veterans in here. Have y'all ever had this little, the scroll up there that shows you whose pick it is? Have you guys ever had that mess up on you? Because that's part of what happened, at least on the Keenan Allen one. That thing had gotten off. And so, like, when I glanced up, it didn't look like it was on my pick until, like, I saw, like, up on the actual other part on my little tabs or whatever. That was a tough one. We did not like that draft at all. Hopefully we get lucky on it. Heavy hitters. I know he had a really nice one going early. Lamar, Trevor Lawrence. Nothing wrong with that QB room at all. JT, Connor, Warren, Garindo, and Dobbins, who's going out to dinner with Sean Payton. Keaton, Mitchell, They call him the missile. CeeDee Lamb, DJ Moore, Travis Hunter, Jacoby Myers, Mooney, Kyle Williams, Jalen Noel as the receiver room. Lamb, Moore, Hunter. That's a nice receiver room, especially considering you got JT, you got Lamar, you got Andrew stacked with Lamar, Strange and Johnson as your other tight ends. Definitely a much better constructed team than the mess that we are doing over here tonight. Let's see what Mark did over in the 5-hole. Jaden and Mahomes and Daniel Jones. Started CMC, Walker, Ramondre's Eliminator ass pick that he is. Ray Davis and Austin Eckler. Receiver room, Worthy, Rashid, Shaheed, Josh Downs, Keon Coleman, Alec Pierce, Calvin Austin, Jalen Coker, Brock Bowers, Dalton Kincaid, and Zach Ertz tight end room. Again, a team that I like better than the mess that I put together. Strong QB room. With Jaden and Mahomes, I might have just kept it at 2, but nothing wrong with tacking Daniel Jones on there. You had Downs, so it makes sense from that aspect. Nice looking team. Let's catch up on some of the chat real quick. Hartman says, the other day when he was doing a stream, I straight up passed on a double stack Tua because I wasn't paying attention and he got picked on the turn. Yeah. We're learning, right? We're learning together. I know you're new to streaming too. Sometimes it can sneak up on you when you're talking and not paying attention. Watch it be the one that advances. You never know. I tried to finish it off the best I could. I draft ugly on the dailies. I'm going to start messing with the dailies this year. I've never done, well, I did a couple of them one time in the playoffs, but very, very little experience with daily. I am going to get into them, though, this year, as probably that's what I'm going to do a few nights a week during the season, just to have something active on my channel. I want to keep it as much to best ball as I can. Pretty much the same thing, kind of. Don't sweat it. I'm not sweating it. It just kind of sucks that I let it happen the second time. I was just getting over the Jaden Blue pick when it happened to me again. Overall, when I look at this team, it is just not good. It describes a decent amount of my teams. Yeah. I try to be honest with my team when I don't think it's that good. Don't sweat it. Last night my internet went out and I autoed a 4th QB. That makes me feel better. What's ups? Yeah, a lot of the time the scroll bar doesn't work. That's what I'm going to have to start paying attention to. Because that is really, especially on the Keenan Allen one, that is definitely what got me. It was, let's see, what round was that? It was the 17th, so we had just made this pick. I was talking, and I remember I was looking at the players list, and I glanced up, and I didn't see, my name there or whatever, so I thought we were still, I don't know, I guess maybe in my head I thought we were going the long way around or something. It happens. If this team, let's go back to it. I think the one thing that I'm happy about decision I made was that if there is a saving grace, if something ends up happening, if it gets out, if it's a top 6 team in week 1, the one thing I think I did right was not just take a gross tight end in the 18th round, who's probably not going to help my lineup much anyways. It was tempting to take Dart and his upside, but on this particular team, I did think that Russell Wilson's going to start the year. Who knows how long? Hopefully, for this team's sake, it's at least a little bit of time. That way, if Tyler Shuck doesn't start week 1, at least I go into the season with Geno and Russ. After the auto pick of Allen, I knew I had taken Slayton right before that, so that was kind of what I was putting together in my head was, well, let's just as much as you wouldn't want to normally go with one tight end, it is Kittle and it is a late bye week. So maybe that can save me. Maybe Kittle has some hot weeks. I have that chart pulled up. Let's see, who does San Francisco play? I know BBG has been talking some over the last few weeks about San Francisco having a nice early schedule. They play at Seattle, at New Orleans, at home against Arizona, at home against Jacksonville, at the Rams, and at Tampa. So that's definitely, some weeks that Kittle could have some really nice games in those weeks, especially if Ayuk isn't full go to start the year, or if Ayuk isn't, maybe they take it slow with Ayuk this year. Easier to look at the board or the picks remaining where it says completed right now. Easier to look at the you talking about in that little section right there? I've never really. Normally I keep it on the board. I just got kind of mixed up that night. It's been a long day. We were on drafting with Candyman before this and talking to him for 30 or 40 minutes, and then I rushed off and messed with my dogs for a minute and hopped back on, and our head just, we didn't have our A game. It happens. Where it says completed, it will say like 3 picks until you. That is very, very pro underdog tip right there. Thank you very much, Hartman. I appreciate that. I've never really paid attention to that little part of the screen whenever I'm drafting, but I will definitely, now that you pointed that out. Superflex has the easiest projected full season. San Francisco has the easiest projected full season schedule of any team based on Vegas totals. Yeah, I've seen that chart before too. I have a bunch of those different charts. Shout out to Who Hames. He's the chart man. If you go in his Discord, you can find all kind of good little charts with different information and stuff on it for Eliminator, for season point totals. Man puts in a lot of work with the charts and stuff. Definitely recommend getting in his Discord if you're not in it already. Could tell where my head's at when I first started reading that. I thought it was a Superflex comment. I've been all about Superflexes and Eliminators lately. Anyways, guys, I'm going to call it a night tonight. That one left a bad taste in my mouth. Tomorrow night, the self-proclaimed chat rat who's in the chat now, Hartman, he will be on the stream with us. I'll get with you tomorrow, Hartman, for the exact time. Somewhere in between 9:30 and 10 is what I shoot for. Let me look at my day tomorrow and see what's going on. And I'll try to get with you midday and plan out an exact time. It'll be fun. Y'all come hang out. I don't know yet what we'll be drafting. If he's up for it, we'll probably do 2. Y'all have a good night. We'll talk to you tomorrow. Come hang out with us tomorrow.